The story of Victor Frankenstein begins with Robert Walton and his voyage to the North Pole. Walton was fortunate enough to discover Frankenstein, who was cold, alone, and malnourished in the midst of his journey. Through a curiosity to learn, and possibly just having a good heart, Walton saves Frankenstein from the elements. Because of this, he becomes enlightened by the story of Victor Frankenstein. Victor Frankenstein grew up in a loving home with parents Alphonse and Caroline Frankenstein, as well as siblings William and Elizabeth Frankenstein. Elizabeth was technically his cousin whom he romantically loved, but that's not important to the story. It just helps us understand what was considered normal during this time, which was the 1800s. He grew up in a home that emphasized the importance of education through prestigious boarding schooling. Knowledge was his way to power. But with much power being so readily available through past philosophers like Cornelius Agrippa or Paracelsus, and an infatuation with human anatomy and death, Frankenstein decided to act as God and take the creation of man into his own hands.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Why would someone want to be in charge of the fate of others? This strange desire of wanting to play with the dead is both unsettling and worrisome. It makes you begin to question when the benefits of advancing as a society are outweighed by allowing one individual to gain an immense amount of power. Who gets to decide who is allowed to know the secret of sustaining life? It would seem courteous for Frankenstein to share his learnings like the preceding philosophers, but again with knowledge comes power. To Frankenstein, the unknown is beautiful, especially that of nature. To him, beauty is the ability to question a concept such as lightning striking down from the sky and explore the endless possibilities that would come about from learning the cause of why such things take place. This beauty is short-lived, however. The yearning Frankenstein feels to learn causes the beauty he finds in education to become torturous as he allows it to engulf him to the point of sickness and madness. The constant need to grow as a scientist takes away from the little successes because of the fixation on the end goal. This isolation can be deadly when spent locked away in a room trying to find a new discovery rather than find oneself. Think about a time in your life when you find yourself becoming overwhelmed. Maybe you even just need to clear your head. For me and Frankenstein, this includes taking the opportunity to connect with nature. Nature is healing for Frankenstein. Could this be because it takes him back to the thunderstorm he experienced as a child that sparked his natural curiosity towards nature? Or could it be because seasonal depression was also prominent in the 1800s, and the moods of the characters became reliant on the weather? The environment Frankenstein is surrounded by significantly influences his state of mind. When surrounded by things he loves, such as mountains or lakes, or his family, and even his companion Henry Serval, life seems more worth living. The truth will set you free is the mantra Mary Shelley uses literally. This advancement in technology that Frankenstein possessed through his newfound ability to create life was shameful and kept secret. The guilt that came from his creation of the monster suffocated him. His silence caused misery and confusion in those surrounding him. His silence was selfish. What good is a philosopher with profound knowledge when their morals are shameful? The ability or even inability to watch as those around you suffer based on your actions show a lack of compassion and mercilessness. The imprisonment and death of a community caused by silence to save the image of oneself is unimaginable. It's monstrous. So who's the real monster in Victor Frankenstein's tale? The monster who craves so deeply to be loved and accepted by society, or the man who is the reason that he is shunned and turns a blind eye as he watches as the misery shifts to anger and this anger into action? Only a real monster decides enough is enough when it begins to directly affect itself. Just like the character shown above, when you really deliberate it, you learn who the real monster is.